Well, folks, thank you for the opportunity again to present this 2019 State of the Town Address. It's been 5 years, folks. So over the last 5 years, I have been honored to convey to you all the accomplishments, the challenges, and visions of Purcellville. Last year, while the public's attention was focused on the personnel investigations, this town staff continued to deliver high level of services to our community, ensuring health, safety, and welfare of all of our citizens. With transparency associated with the investigation, your town government provided public disclosure of the direct and indirect costs associated with the investigation and an investigative report, which resulted in our Chief of Police, Chief McAllister, welcome back to the community and to full duty in August. Please give Chief McAllister a round of applause. In addition, in the third quarter of 2018, we started an operational assessment. This operational assessment confirmed the resiliency of the town staff and management, and it also presented strategic recommendations to enhance operational efficiency and service delivery for our town. Let's give a round of applause to our new town manager and the staff of Town Purcellville. The collective efforts of your town council, operational team, committees, commissions, and boards, and as well as our citizens with countless feedback and the business community have brought us to this moment of declaration that the state of the town of Purcellville is strong and striving. Undoubtedly, our varied accomplishments reflect our abilities to deliver what we promise to the people of Purcellville, to create and to preserve value, and to manage our assets efficiently. Now, to our presentation. In third quarter of 2018, the newly elected town council convened to have our first strategic session. In that strategic session, we confirm or affirm our vision and our mission. Purcellville is still your small town where history intersects with progress and the people prosper. Our mission is to provide leadership, stewardship, and policies that in turn produce a vibrant community whereby residents delight in living, participating, and welcoming visitors. That is your town of Purcellville. Our guiding principles, or as we call it, our core values. First, we have accountability always. If we touch it, we own it. That is our mantra of accountability. Integrity first. You have our commitment to be honest, fair, and respectful. Innovative stewardship. With the confluence of big data, a connected world, they're talking about artificial intelligence, we will not waver in not being the status quo. We'll go above and beyond that. We'll find innovative ways to make our government more efficient. Teamwork and purpose. Teamwork with purpose. We have the humility to understand that we cannot do it by ourselves. It's a collective effort. We'll look to our community, our committees, commissions, and board, and most importantly, our staff, to get things done and get it done right. And finally, transparency in all decisions. That's our cornerstone. We'll shine a light on everything that needs to be done within reason and that is legal. We will make sure that we have a transparent government. Okay. Focus areas of my state of the town. I will start with operations, and I will not go through this entire list, but I'll just walk through the slide. I'll start with operations, provide you with a financial picture of our financial household, and also move on to the road ahead. Let's start with operations. I tell my kids, and I tell those who I mentor, failure is not a bad thing if you can learn from it. But what's important is for you to fail fast, so you can recover and improve on it. Our Fireman's Field contract and the Tabernacle contract, those were both arrangements that we made in 2018. With the Fireman's Field contract, we had issues with making sports affordable to our young people. But this staff and this new council came together and worked with the county to establish an interim arrangement. In the upcoming months, you will see a final agreement with the county. Give our council for the dedication and the staff the dedication. Give them a round of applause for making that happen. The Bush Tabernacle, we have executed a contract with Sean Alexander Entertainment, or Inc. Sean Alexander Inc., my apologies. And so that contract has been executed and finalized, and now we have opened the doors of Bush Tabernacle for enhanced sporting activities and events for Purcellville. In the area of operations, we look at our utility enterprise. These folks have delivered over 209 million, with an M, gallons of water, potable water to our citizens. In addition, they were able to obtain their 11th Water Treatment Plant Excellence Award. Give them a round of applause. As part of our investigation, one of the many recommendations was to improve our police department, the actual facility. We need a police department facility that the one that we have currently is woefully inadequate for the police. It has outgrown its use. And on a given year, we are almost budgeting for $100,000 just in rent. So as one of the recommendations, we started to look at places within Purcellville that will be best fit for a new police department. So as we move on in 2019, look for us to present potential places for a new police department. In addition, I mentioned our operational assessment. Our operational assessment netted us over 48 recommendations. That's a lot of work, David. And we'll need to go through those recommendations, prioritize them. We cannot do everything, but once we are able to prioritize them, we'll then be able to move forward with the best recommendations to make our government more functional. Country Club cut-through. Excuse me. This has been an issue that has been in the town of Purcellville for over a decade. When I say accountability and ownership, if we touch it, we own it. Well, that's something we touch, and we owned it to a resolution. Many would agree that by the solution that we implemented significantly reduced the traffic congestion and the drive-through traffic. Some would say we could have gone further, but folks, I stand before you today and say that we have done what we could, and we have measures in place to see if this would ever revert to the state that it was in. We can then come in with more corrective actions. So that was another great job by the town staff and also our town council that led the effort. Input in our county comprehensive plan. The county comprehensive plan has many tentacles, as I say. We are not in a bottle. Things that happen outside of Purcellville impacts us. So with that said, we crafted a position paper with the assistance of our planning commission to provide to the county to present to them Purcellville's position and our desire. In alignment with that position paper, we also discussed the transition policy area. The transition policy area is that area between the rural area and the urban area. And it is your last bastion of preventing encroachment. So we presented a paper on our position for prevention of encroachment with the transition policy area. And finally on this slide, this is a long slide, the others will be less painful, is the comprehensive plan. We have Tips to Net and members of the Planning Commission here today. Thank you for the thousands of hours of work that you've put into getting us to this state where the comprehensive plan is close to being reviewed by the community again, and also our town council for formal adoption. Give a round of applause to our Planning Commission for their work. In the area of public safety and emergency response, we had 3 officers graduated from the police academy, 2 officer positions filled. Our PD has been on the staff for years. Folks, in a town with 9,700 citizens and $130 million in assets and $1.1 billion in personal real estate and business real estate, we need an active police force that's fully staffed. We are on our way to doing that, and we are on our way to having a police building that is adequate, more than adequate for them. In addition, we had a police officer assigned to address the growing cyber threat to our young people. We held 6 Coffee with a Cop. So again, this is policing at its best with community involvement and engagement. We also partnered with our fire department to do the National Night Out and also the Public Safety Day. We have contracts in place to improve and enhance our operational policies at the police department and also support updating our methods and procedures. The part I love, finance. So, our financial house is in order. But taking this slide from a SWOT analysis perspective, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. As it stands, in $14.5 million in investment portfolio value as the end of 2018. Your money, citizens of Purcellville, is working for you because that $14.5 million has gained over $190,000 in interest. So as we sleep, our money is working for us in the bank. In addition, the town total long-term obligation decreased by $3.4 million. Some of the areas of strength on the left of this beautiful house. Right. Revenue was $540,000 more than budget. The expenses were $812,000 on the budget. Revenues totaled $10 million, which is a $228,000 increase from 2017. Expenditures excluding principal payment total $9.52 million. Folks, our financial house is in order, but we do have challenges. Our challenges are predominantly in the utility enterprise space. Of the $50 million in debt, actually $55 million in debt, when I first became mayor, that debt was $61 million. So we were able, many councils and the staff was able to reduce that debt by over $6 million. Last year, I stood before you and indicated that we saved over $12.5 million in debt payment by restructuring our debt. But when I stood before you, I made it clear that that's just buying us time. That means we have 10 years to look at innovative ways to take care of our debt. This brings us back to our weakness and our challenge. We have today in our wastewater treatment debt, $30.9 million. In our water debt is $9 million. We need to find ways to be able to pay that debt. So that is a key challenge. Last year, we saw the expenses in the wastewater treatment operations increase above budget and also in water. Those are risks that we need to take care of and address. And as I move forward in this presentation, I'll present to you some of our way forward ideas and ways to address those debt. All in all, we retained our stellar credit rating from the 3 credit bureaus. And this is your financial house. There are risks, there are issues and concerns, but you have the commitment from me as your mayor and this council to address them going forward. We are a business-friendly community. In 2018, we welcomed over 70 new businesses. Actually, 71 new businesses, according to Patrick Sullivan. 40 storefronts and 31 home-based businesses. 225 new jobs were created in the town of Purcellville. Give Purcellville a round of applause, folks. We also able to, in partnership with the Makerspace, this was one of our underutilized assets. It used to be our old maintenance facility. We were able to partner with Makersmith, and now it's a vibrant business incubator. If you want to learn about 3D printing or laser cutting, please sign up. They take membership. And this is an example of us taking an underutilized asset and making it into a high-performing asset for the community. In addition, we had 320 zoning permits and major site. So these slides tell you that we are open for business and we are a business enabler. Now to Parks and Rec, the arts and the environment. W.O.&D Trail and Chapman de Mary. That's one of my favorite spots in Purcellville, the Chapman de Mary. It's a river walk in small town America. We are looking at initiatives. We started an initiative whereby we are looking at ways to connect all of our trails to the W.O.&D Trail. We do not want a bridge to nowhere. We see an opportunity to connect all of the trails. So as we move forward in 2019, we'll find ways to partner with businesses and also government, Loudoun County, to see how we can connect these trails. Bike park, we obtained a proposal for a pump and ride bike park. The cost was a bit higher than I expected, but from my vantage point, I see there are opportunities to push this in towards a public-private partnership, whereby we partner with a business to do that. We will be working with the Parks and Rec for ideas as to how to do that, instead of having the government fund this, okay? The Nature Park Trail goes without saying, that will be connected to the W&G Trail. That is our goal. Relative to the area of environmental sustainability, and we have a council member that, and don't take offense to this, we call him Tree Boy. But with the TESS, Organization Tree and Environmental Sustainability Committee, we replaced 68 trees. This is our 11th year of Tree City USA designation. Give the town of Purcellville another round of applause. In the area of arts, we continue our art tour. We continue the town art display. You see these wonderful quilts displayed around our town hall. So it's inviting for someone to come in and see a town council and government that is supportive of the art. We had our second annual Cabin Fever Film Festival. We are not at the status of Middleburg yet, but we have started. Next, youth and community engagement. If you did not know, 1/3 of our population, again 9,700, so 1/3 of our population are our young people. Over the past year, we were pleased to honor our young people, recognize them as high school champions. We had 12 Eagle Scouts. We had one Eagle Scout project that was specific to an issue that is nationwide, which is suicide awareness. So that was the first concert in honor and recognition of the issues with suicide and how we can better get our better get our community to be aware of this and to address it. In addition, we had 6 sports grants totaling $5,200, again for our young people. Fireman's Field improvement, and as I stated before, we now have the county managing the maintenance and operations of Fireman's Field, which is good for youth sport. In addition, from the community policing perspective, we had Cocoa with a Cop, Shop with a Cop, and ride the fire truck to school with the fire police. Okay, that is community in a small town America, and that is Purcellville. My next slide, Purcellville Bank. We hear a lot about going into the pockets of taxpayers. Over this past year, we were able to secure over $3.5 million back from the federal government, the state, and from the county. There is money out there. And if you had asked me this 5 years ago, I might have been shy to knock on the door of Tony Buffington or knock on the door of my state legislator and ask for money. That money is our money because it's our tax money going to the Fed, going to the state, so we're asking for that back into our community. In 2018, we did a great job with getting back $3.8 million, whether it be from the county applying for grant for the Tabernacle for $300,000, the NVTA and VDOT for $2 million for road improvement. We will continue with that, asking for money that can come back to our community to make our community vibrant. Now, to the road ahead. In our Parks and Rec organization, we can look forward to more programs and enhancements at Fireman's Field. We'll continue with the trail system where we'll connect the roads, again the Riverwalk to the WOD Trail, the bike and skate park. I can see us advancing that initiative forward. In the area of economic advancement, I spoke about the $30.9 million in debt and the $9 million for water. We see an opportunity of reclaiming water and also extending to other communities. For example, the town of Hamilton and the town of Hillsborough approached us to connect to our wastewater facility. When you hear about the connection from Purcellville to another town, the first thing that spurs an individual's mind is that's an invitation for growth. There are ways to make sure that that pipe that goes from one community to the next is a force main and cannot be used for any growth. And this is being investigated by our town attorney to see if there's a way to put an easement in place that would prevent that, right? This is not the mayor looking at an opportunity to get money back, yeah, somewhat, right? But it's also an opportunity to help a neighboring town. For Hamilton to put in place a new wastewater treatment facility, that will be over $10 million, right? And we have an opportunity here with a state-of-the-art, I call it the Cadillac of wastewater treatment facility, to support a neighboring town or two that are in need. So that's an opportunity that you'll see us advance. In addition, we will pursue growth opportunities. I call it the 3 H's. Hemp, not weed, hops, and horses. With the $867 billion farm bill, we are not asking for billions of dollars to come back to Purcellville, maybe a million or few, right? So we see an opportunity here of advancing agricultural growth within the town of Purcellville. We have Marty Cloden that's laser focused on looking at grants that can come back to our community. Broadband expansion and competition. 25 megabits per second, that is the goal, or higher. Today we have one company providing 25 megabits per second. And there is another company, but I work for that company, so I can't talk about that. but I see opportunity for us to have a multi-supplier solution, whether it be 3 companies or 2 companies that will be able to compete, have affordable broadband so the citizens of Purcellville can connect to the internet with the highest speed possible. Cell tower number 2 deployment. This is an area that I've heard through the grapevine that folks are saying, why is the town of Purcellville getting into the cellular tower business? Folks, we're not getting into a cellular tower business. We are being landlords. We are providing a facility whereby the equipment will be installed. We do not have visions of being Craig McCaw. The cellular providers will put their equipment on a structure that is owned by the town. We pay $500 to maintain it, but those equipment will be maintained and managed by the carriers. Why this is important? It's estimated that we could secure over $150,000 a year with a cell tower. $150,000 a year. Just divide that by 3. That's about 3 wastewater availabilities. That's 3 houses that we don't have to build. All we have is a structure housing and equipment on it. So there is potential on that. And I'll look forward to more. I believe Councilmember Ogerman is leading that effort with the support of the town. In addition, agriculture and technology advancement and innovation at our Aberdeen property. I said hemp, horses, and hops. We have 189 acres of prime agricultural property sitting there, providing no benefit to the town of Purcellville. And when land provides no benefit, what do you call it? You call it a liability. We need to extract value from that. In addition to the road ahead, we'll continue with our film festival in the arts. We'll implement town murals. This has been a challenge for us. We have opportunities for working with our local businesses to be able to put murals that are beautiful and inviting within the town of Purcellville. Western Loudoun First Comic Exposition. The EDAC organization was approached by an enterprise to look at November of this year to provide a first comic book exposition in Western Loudoun. And it will be, if all goes well, it will be here in the town of Purcellville. Train Station Museum. This was a goal at the beginning of the train station on when the town acquired this train station. One of the goals was to convert one of the rooms in the train station into a museum. We have the Train Station Advisory Committee committed to advancing that effort in 2019. In the area of environmental and community, being a good neighbor, I spoke about that. The environmental benefits of connecting the wastewater treatment facility to Hamilton is significant. Today, Hamilton's phosphorus level is 14, and that goes into the Chesapeake Bay. You want to venture to guess what our phosphorus level is from our Cadillac of wastewater treatment plants? Is 4. So it makes environmental sense. 14 to 4, connected, make sure that we're not spurring development and get it done, okay? In addition, we'll look to implementing the tree canopy improvement program with the TESS organization. Also, our carbon footprint mapping. This is basically to establish a baseline so we'll understand what we contribute to carbon. Although I know methane is more disastrous than carbon, but we'll start with carbon to see what we contribute to it so we can track to see how we can improve. Also, we'll again implement the Manage Hunt program, but this version of it will include our staff and our citizens. Lastly, we will lobby with federal officials to accelerate the 690 and 7 interchange. The second week of March, I will be on Capitol Hill talking to our congressional leaders. As a member of the NLC, National League of Cities, we have Congressional Day on Wednesday, the second Wednesday in March. And I will be knocking on doors and lobbying to bring money back to Purcellville for our infrastructure and our water facilities, so we don't have to go into the pockets of our taxpayers. In addition, you will see construction of the Hearst Farm Pond. The Hearst Road Safety Improvement will be on its way this year. Main Street and Maple Avenue improvement, and finally the Nursery Avenue improvements. These are all infrastructure projects that we are focused on and will be implemented this year. Okay, to conclude, as with many other towns across our nation, Purcellville has and will continue to experience challenges that test us, yet I remain confident that we will persevere in maintaining the safety, health, quality of life, small town atmosphere, and positive values that we want for the place we call home. As a man of faith, I'm reminded that the fires in this life are not meant to consume us, but to refine us and make us pure as gold. I see the challenges that Purcellville face as just opportunities and ways to make us better. So with that said, again, as I started this, the state of your town is strong and vibrant. Thank you very much. Okay. And lastly, I'd like to give out some thank you. I see my wife in the audience. Angie, can you please stand? If you so, Angie, 5 years ago, when I made this decision to run as mayor, I remember our conversation at the table. And clearly, I said I could do this in my dream, in my sleep. I cannot. Thank you for your continued prayer, perseverance. Darius is not here, but Naomi and Jeremy, thank you again for your support. I could not do it without you. And give them a round of applause. I thank Mr. McCarthy, Hooper, Diana. We cannot run government without you folks. You provide the stage, you prepare the stage, you run in the background. You're not the first on the front page of the paper, but with tenacity, perseverance, and commitment, you do us well and you make Purcellville proud. Thank you very much this time. Now to you, our citizens, thank you for your critique, thank you for your recommendation, thank you for your loud voice, and you represent participatory government, and we are open to all criticism, all recommendation. Thank you for keeping us firm, thank you for testing us, and thank you for making us deliver on your behalf. Give yourself a round of applause.